Hey preschool friends, today is our first read of Dear Juno. This is our book this week. Let's look at our vocab cards. So our first word is artist. Say artist. Nice job. An artist is someone who likes to draw or create. You all friends are artists when you're drawing or painting. When you make a craft, that makes you an artist. In this picture, the girl is showing you her artwork. She is an artist. And in our story, Juno, that's the little boy in our story, he will draw a picture for his grandma. He is an artist. This word says letter. Can you say letter? Letter, nice job. Letter is a note or a message that you write to tell someone something. We send letters in the mail. Friends, we talked about envelopes and how we have to put our letters in the envelope and mail them. Do you remember that? Ooh. Do you remember last week when we read the iguana book and Mom and Alex were writing letters to each other back and forth? In this picture, there is a letter for a boy's birthday, and this is the envelope that it came in, because when you send something in the mail, it has to go in an envelope. Juno, in our story, and his grandma will send letters back and forth through the mail. This word is wonder. Say wonder. To wonder means to ask yourself a question, to think about something. I wonder why the sky is blue. I wonder what kind of grapes you like, to think about it. When I go home after school sometimes, I wonder how you're doing at home. In this picture, the little girl is wandering. She looks like she's thinking. Thinking and wandering are similar. In our story, Juno wonders about his grandma because his grandma lives really far away from him and he wants to learn about her. Friends, this is mystery. Say mystery. Mystery is something that you don't know. If you have an object in a bag and you can't see what it is, it's a mystery, right? It's hiding. You don't know. In this picture, the boy has a briefcase. I wonder what's inside his briefcase. It's a mystery. In our story, Dear Juno gets letters from his grandma, but he can't read them because he doesn't know how to read, and he doesn't want to bother his mom and dad just yet. So the letters are a mystery. What grandma has to say is a mystery. Well, let's get to reading our story and find out what grandma tells Juno and how Juno figures out what's in the letter if he doesn't know how to read. Dear Juno, this is the story that we're going to read today. Juno watched as the red and white blinking lights soared across the night sky, shooting stars, and waited as they disappeared into faraway places. Juno wondered where they were and where they came from. He wondered where they were going, and he wondered if any of the planes came from a little town near Seoul, where his grandma lived, and where she ate persimmons every evening before bed. Every evening before bed. Remember, he was wondering. Juno looked at the letter that came that day. Juno looked at the letter that came that day. It was long and white and smudged. He saw the red and blue marks on the edge, and he knew it came from very far away. His name and address were neatly printed on the front, so he knew the letter was for him. But best of all, the special stamp on the corner told Juno that the letter was from his grandma. So even though he couldn't read who it was from, he had some clues, right? The stamp told him it was from grandma, and he could read his name, just like you guys could read your name. Through the window, Juno could see his parents. He saw bubbles growing in the sink. He saw dirty dishes waiting to be washed. He knew he would have to wait for the cleaning to be done before his parents could read to him. Maybe I read this inside too. Maybe I can read the inside too, Juno said to his dog Sam. Sam wagged his tail very carefully. Juno opened the envelope. Inside, he found a letter folded into a neat, small square. He unfolded it, tucked it inside where a picture was, and a dried flower. Juno looked at the letter and the words. He couldn't understand them. He pulled out the photograph. It was a picture of his grandma holding a cat. He pulled out the red and yellow flower. It felt light and gentle like a dried leaf. Juno smiled. "Come on, Sam," Juno said. "Let's go find Mom and Dad." I wonder, do you think that the picture is telling him that Grandma got a new cat? And maybe, does she have a garden? Where did the flower come from? Let's find out. "Grandma has a new cat," Juno said as he handed the letter to his mother. And she's growing red and yellow flowers in her garden. "How do you know she has a new cat?" Juno's father asked. "Well, she wouldn't send me a picture of a strange cat," said Juno. "No, I guess not," said Juno's father. "How do you know the flower is from her garden?" asked Juno's mother. "Well, she wouldn't send me a flower from somebody else's garden," Juno answered. "No, she wouldn't," said Juno's mother. Then Juno read him the letter. Let's see if he was right. "Dear Juno, how are you? I have a new cat to keep me company. I named him Juno after you. He can't help me weed, but the rabbits no longer come to eat my flowers. Love, Grandma." "Just like you read it all by yourself," said Juno's father. "I did read it," Juno said. "Yes, you did," said his mother. Just like when we look at the pictures in a book, we can tell the story from the book. Juno's able to tell what his grandma was from the pictures he saw. At school, Juno showed his class his grandmother's picture and dried flowers. He even pinned the letter to the board. All day long, Juno kept peeking at the flower from his grandmother's garden. He didn't have a garden that grew flowers, but he had a swinging tree. Juno looked at the letter pinned to the board. Did his grandmother like getting letters too? Yes, Juno thought. She likes getting letters just like I do. So Juno decided to write one. Do you think you guys could write a letter? After school, Juno ran to his backyard. He picked a leaf from the swinging tree, the biggest leaf he could find. Juno found his mother, who was sitting at the desk. He showed her the leaf. "I'm going to write a letter," he told her. "I'm sure it will be a very nice letter," she answered, and gave him a big yellow envelope. "Yes, it will." And Juno began to draw. First, he drew a picture of his mom and dad standing outside the house. Second, he drew a picture of Sam playing underneath his big swinging tree. Then, very carefully, Juno drew a picture of himself standing under an airplane in a starry nighttime sky. After he was finished, he placed everything in the envelope. Remember, we put them in the envelope so that we can mail it someplace different. "Here's my letter," Juno announced proudly. "You can read it if you want." Juno's father looked in the envelope. He pulled out the leaf. Only a big swinging tree could have grown a leaf like this. Juno's mother pulled out one of the drawings. "Well, what a fine picture," she said. "It takes a good artist to see so many with a drawing, to say so much with a drawing." Juno's father patted Juno on the back. "It's just like a real letter," he said. "It is a real letter," Juno said. "It certainly is," said his mother. Then they mailed the envelope and waited. Do you see Grandma got her leaf and her pictures? There she is with her cat. One day, a big envelope came. It was from Juno's grandmother. This time, Juno didn't wait at all. He opened the envelope right away. Inside, Juno found a box of colored pencils. He knew his grandma wanted another letter. Next, he pulled out a picture of his grandmother. He noticed she was sitting with a cat and 2 kittens. He thought for a minute and laughed. Now his grandmother would have to find a new name for her cat in Korea. Juno was a boy's name, not a girl's name. Then he pulled out a small toy plane. Juno smiled. His grandmother was coming to visit. All of those cool things in the envelope were clues. "Maybe she'll bring her cat when she comes to visit," Juno said to Sam as he climbed in bed. "Maybe you will have 2 friends." Soon Juno was fast asleep. He dreamed that night about a faraway place, a village just outside Seoul, where his grandmother, whose gray hair sat on top of her head like a powdered donut, was sipping her morning tea. The cool air feels crisp against her cheek, crisp enough to crack. He dreams like the golden leaves would watch over the persimmons garden. Friends, it was just like he dreamed. Do you see Grandma sitting there under the tree? Do you guys think that you could write a letter this week, maybe to your grandma. You can write a letter to your teachers, to your brothers or your mom and dad. Can you draw a picture of something that you've been doing really fun this week or this past weekend, or maybe something exciting that you're going to do for Thanksgiving, and send it to somebody? If you do, take a picture because we want to see. All right, bye friends.